Have you ever wished you could live forever? Well, believe it or not, nature might already have cracked the code to immortality. Somewhere in the ocean, drifting quietly beneath the waves, lives a creature that seems to defy time itself. It doesn't wrinkle, it doesn't age the way we do, and under the right conditions, it can actually reset its own life. Today, we're diving into the story of the animal that could live forever. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at jellyfish the same way again. So, what is this mysterious animal? Meet Turritopsis dohrnii, better known as the immortal jellyfish. And yes, that's its real nickname. This tiny creature, barely the size of your pinky fingernail, has one of the most mind-blowing biological tricks in the animal kingdom. While most animals are locked into the cycle of birth, aging, and death, this jellyfish has found a way to hit the reset button on life itself. Here's how it works. Like all jellyfish, Turritopsis starts life as a larva, attaches to a surface, and grows into a polyp. Eventually, it transforms into a free-swimming medusa, the stage we usually picture when we think of a jellyfish. But here's the twist. If this jellyfish gets stressed, injured, or old instead of dying, it can reverse its own life cycle. It literally transforms its adult body back into a polyp, starting the cycle over again. Imagine if you, instead of aging, could suddenly shrink back into a child, regrow into an adult, and repeat that loop indefinitely. That's what this jellyfish does. Now you might be wondering, if this animal can technically live forever, why aren't our oceans filled with immortal jellyfish taking over the world? Great question. The answer is that while the jellyfish can reset its aging clock, it's not invincible. They can still be eaten by predators or wiped out by disease. So their immortality isn't absolute, but biologically, their cells don't have a built-in expiration date. And here's where things get really interesting. Scientists are studying this jellyfish intensely because understanding how it manages to reset its cells could give us clues about human aging, regenerative medicine, and even cancer research. After all, if a jellyfish can continuously rejuvenate its body, could we one day learn to apply that trick to ourselves? Now, before we go deeper into the science of how it pulls this off, let me just pause for a second. If you're enjoying this dive into the strangest animal superpower on Earth, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We bring you amazing science stories every week, and trust me, you won't want to miss the next one. Alright, back to the jellyfish that refuses to die. So, what's actually happening at the cellular level? When the jellyfish decides to reverse its life cycle, its adult cells undergo a process called transdifferentiation. That means one type of cell can directly transform into another type. For example, a muscle cell could turn into a nerve cell. This is incredibly rare in animals and is something that researchers are still trying to fully understand. It's like the biological equivalent of reprogramming your body from scratch. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a random accident of evolution. It's a survival strategy. In the wild, being tiny and fragile means you're constantly at risk. But instead of just dying when things get bad, Turritopsis cheats death by hitting restart. It's like a video game character that refuses to accept game over. Now think about this. If humans had that ability, medicine would be completely transformed. Aging as we know it might become optional. Imagine a future where you could live decades, centuries, maybe even longer, simply by resetting your body. It sounds like science fiction, but the fact that a jellyfish can do it proves that the laws of biology don't forbid it. They just make it very, very difficult. Of course, this raises some deep questions. Would immortality really be a blessing or a curse? If nobody aged, how would society change? Would we still appreciate life the same way, knowing we could just reset ourselves? Or would it take away some of the urgency and meaning that comes from the fact that life is short? These are questions scientists and philosophers are already debating, and the jellyfish has become the starting point of that conversation. So, while Turritopsis dohrnii may not literally rule the oceans forever, its unique ability has already changed the way we think about aging and biology. It reminds us that nature is still full of secrets, secrets that could one day transform our own lives in ways we can barely imagine today. The next time you see a jellyfish washed up on the beach, remember this. Hidden inside some of those delicate creatures might be the closest thing we've ever found to eternal life.